welcome to Arcade 85. I've been a dermatologist for decades, treating medical conditions of the skin, including a lot of acne. I've gotten so good at what I do that most patients, with a single visit to my office, with a single conversation with me, will become clearer with their acne for a lifetime. And so that's what we're offering you today. Let's watch this video and have fewer pimples forever. What do you say? We start with an understanding of what acne is, and we simplify it to the point of, so that we can understand very easily, let's have you point your fingers towards your complexion and repeat after me. Ready? Fingers up. Acne is, I can't get my oils out. Once again, acne is, I can't get my oils out. If we understand this concept, we'll always be clearer. For starters, when you're a little kid, a little 4 or 5-year-old kid, you have little tiny pores that just make little bits of oil. Kids' faces are dry and they don't have any pimples. It looks great. Meanwhile, adults gush oil through large pores. To keep this looking good for a lifetime, we would like to bathe it in oil. The body, nature, causes us to be nice and oily so that this looks good. This is the money maker, and so we preserve with these oils. And so for the first decade of life, we're dry, but for subsequent decades, we're nice and oily. And so adults gush oil through large pores, big pores on the adult, gushing oil. Every adult looks in the mirror and says, oh, my pores are so large, because every adult remembers what it was like as a kid to look in the mirror and have little tiny pores. And so the transition between kid complexion and adult complexion is the reason for teenage acne. The teenager is producing adult quantities of oil, but trying to pass them out through his kid pores. Whoops, it's not coming out. And so teenage acne is I can't get my oils out because I'm making more oil than what my kid pores can handle. With females and reproductive cycles, those hormone shifts monthly cause the female to create more oils on certain days of the month. And once again, whoops, I can't get my oils out. I'm making pimples on certain days of the month. Very frustrating. We need to be careful not to shove oils into the pores. After all, acne is, I can't get my oils out. And so what we don't want is to shove products back into the pores, which we all do to some degree. So let's see if we can avoid that. If there are 2 soaps in the sink, one of these is going to give us pimples. Can you guess which one it is? It's the Moisturizing Cleanser. Can you see that, how it's moisturizing? All cleansers are a combination of soap and moisturizer. And in this case, you have too much moisturizer. And so if I'm going to be washing the rest of me in the shower, hey, look, my skin is very soft. I've just applied a moisturizing soap, and as the product rinses off, it leaves behind a lotion residue, which softens up the skin. Hey, it's very purposeful. Meanwhile, we don't want to do that on acne-prone surfaces, because acne is I can't get my oils out, and now we've left an oil residue that makes it even harder to get the oils out. And so oily products, moisturizers, sunscreens, gooey makeup. We don't want to put moisturizing gooey products on acne-prone skin. Here's a cleanser. Is this one going to be okay? We say, well, we're not sure. Well, let's take a little look. Gentle skin cleanser. Whoops, the word gentle right there tips you off that this is going to be a moisturizing product. So let's not use this on a complexion. And if it comes in a liquid form, whoops, that's going to be too lotiony. And so we don't want to use that. We don't want to gunk ourselves up. So here's another quiz question. A friend calls up and she's at the department store at the makeup counter. Hey, I'm trying to remember, for my complexion, do I want to buy a powder foundation or a liquid? What would you say? Of course, you'd say powder, because powder foundation on the surface is going to be less gooey than a liquid foundation. Liquid foundation is paint. Same person. Now, am I supposed to wash it off before I go to bed? Of course, the answer is yes there. You do not want to sleep in anything gooey, right? And so if you're sleeping in it, whoops, it's going to get up into your pores. Same person calls up, was I supposed to pull my hair back when I was going to bed, or am I supposed to sleep in my hair? And of course, the answer there is if you have long hair, you want to pull it back. You don't want to sleep in that hair because the hair is oily and it's going to make it harder for the oils to exit. By the way, it's not just moisturizing products. It's anything keeping the oils from exiting that's going to aggravate acne. So for example, football players at the end of football season wearing helmets. At the end of the season, they come in to see me with pimples right along here, here, and here, right where their helmet has been keeping their oils from getting out. And so, the reason that all of this is a little bit strange to you is that the world has these really strange recommendations that are not the proper recommendations. And I hope that one day this video is ho-hum. Oh, that's kind of dull. I mean, after all, the sky is blue, water is wet, and moisturizing products will plug up my pores and give me pimples. That should be obvious, but it's not, because the world has strange recommendations right now. If you go to any YouTube video or healthcare magazine, they'll give you the same 3 awful recommendations. I'm going to hold these as far away, these 3 fingers, I'm going to hold these as far away from my brain as I possibly can so that they don't damage my brain so much. All right, so I'm going to tell you what the world tells you, but this isn't what I'm telling you. The world will say for acne care, you want to wash twice a day with a moisturizing cleanser and then moisturize your skin with an oil-free moisturizer at night. Ugh! That is a triumvirate of bad recommendations that will give you pimples. Those 3 are a recipe for acne. If you wanted to make acne, you would have people wash twice a day with a gentle cleanser and then moisturize at night. We're not really sure where these recommendations came from because they're ridiculous. It doesn't make sense to put gooey things on acne-prone skin, and yet that's the thing that they recommend. It's very strange. All right. Oh, by the way, when we talked about soaps causing pimples and not causing pimples, watch out for moisturizing cleanser. That doesn't mean that a non-moisturizing cleanser is going to clear everything up. It simply means this one's not going to leave a lotiony residue to cause more acne. I do like this product, by the way. Unfortunately, people will email the company and say, your stuff dries me out. And so the company will say, don't worry, we'll add some moisturization and we'll call it by a different subtitle name. We'll call it aloe or some other name. And we don't want, for the purposes of preventing acne, we don't want any moisturization in those soaps. And so a good antibacterial soap, Irish Spring, Zest, Dial, Safeguard, get the non-moisturizing versions of those. Let's talk just a little bit about treatment. So you go to your standard retail pharmacy and there will be a whole row of acne products. Look at this, a whole row of acne products. Maybe I'll try this one. Oh, it's a wash. I wonder if that will work. Well, bad news. Washing has never fixed acne. Don't invest in acne washes. The reason they're selling these acne washes to you is because you're buying them, not because they work. In fact, people are coming along at the pharmacy and they're saying, well, maybe I'll try this one. Oh, doesn't work. Maybe I'll try this one. Oh, doesn't work. And right behind them is another person saying, wonder if this works. Wonder if this works. And behind them, another person. And so these products are literally being sold to first-time users. And there's always another person with acne. So there's always going to be products. And for the most part, this stuff that you get over the counter is not going to help. Meanwhile, there is one product scattered among these others that actually does help. And you have to be able to find it among the ones that don't. This is Benzoyl Peroxide Gel. Do you see the big word gel there? Good. Benzoyl Peroxide Gel. Do you see the word gel? It's a little bit smaller. Good. Benzoyl Peroxide Gel. Do you see the little itty bitty word gel? Good. Benzoyl peroxide gel over the counter is very helpful for acne. It's a really good acne treatment. Meanwhile, it always comes in the United States, it seems to always come in a tube about this size, and it doesn't matter which brand you buy, but a benzoyl peroxide gel. Unfortunately, once again, because this one can be drying, people say, wow, this has really dried me out. And the company will say, don't worry, we can soften it up and we'll call it cream or simply medication. So if it doesn't have the word gel on it, they'll get rid of the word gel as they moisturize it. So if it says the word gel, that means it doesn't have extra moisturizers. In the case of the gooed up one, you don't want that. It's a good active ingredient, benzoyl peroxide, but the vehicle is too gooey. Instead, you want the gel. So a little touch of benzoyl peroxide gel. In the United States right now, it runs at about $6 for a tube of this. So it's very inexpensive. And by the way, this is old school prescription grade product. So be careful. So many things are over the counter, not requiring a prescription because they're mild. This one is over the counter because it's safe, but it's anything but mild. We have to be careful. This one will actually dry us out way too much. And so we use just a little bit at first. This one will also bleach your pajamas and your pillowcase. We wear it at night, by the way. What's funny here is you'll put some on, and if you try it during the day, it will disappear and look pretty good, but then an hour or so later, it will powder up, leaving a little bit of a powder appearance later, and people say, whoa, putting on acne medicine, huh? So you don't want that. You don't want to use it during the day. This is a nighttime medicine. So little bits of benzoyl peroxide at night. Now, of course, when patients come to see me in the office, I also prescribe really good prescription medicines to help them through this. But years later, they're not using those prescription medicines. They're simply using the good skincare advice that they received when they came here. And so pay close attention to what we've been talking about and avoid gooey products. I like sun protection. We'll do a video on sun protection sometime soon. And I like sunscreen. But remember, sunscreen comes in a moisturizing vehicle and it's going to goop us up. And so I personally don't use daily sunscreen with my own complexion because I don't like the zits that it gives us. By the way, when I wake up in the morning and I have a big hot pimple, which I do sometimes, even as a dermatologist, I hate having acne as a dermatologist sometimes because, you try to look good for your patients, try to convince them that you can prevent acne, but whoops, sometimes you have your own zit. And with me, unfortunately, it's almost always because of sunscreen use. In other words, I'll go jogging and I'll have a lot of sunscreen on, big hat, collar up, and long sleeves. And if I don't successfully wash all of that product off, then my pores can get plugged up. So even the dermatologist can get pimples sometimes. And every time I get a pimple or you get a pimple, the thought needs to come, what is it where I couldn't get my oils out? Acne is I can't get my oils out. And so with every episode of pimples, it should be, what's keeping my oils from coming out? By the way, the pores are loaded with bacteria. The surface of the skin is loaded with bacteria. It's part of our microbiome. And when the pore gets plugged up because, whoops, too much oil and it can't all come out, then the oxygen content in the pore decreases. And the microorganisms that live in the pores love that warm, dark, moist environment. And so they actually start to proliferate. And they like the low oxygen environment. And so the zits that you see, the big hot sores and the pustules, this is in part a bacterial reaction to all of the jammed up oil. And so let's not jam up the oil. And by the way, the benzoyl peroxide is an antibiotic to help control the bacteria and help to lessen that response when the bacteria overreact to the plugged up pores. Appreciate you watching this video. Enjoy your arcade games, and we'll see you next time.